I've never been to a brokerage that was this awesome.
People is happy here, people doesn't want to leave, and we make so much effort to keep them together here.
You've been in business for 4 years and say we have 0% churn, no one has left yet.
That's a record.
It's something that we all get worried about. It's a guy who drives a truck and who exposes their life. That is part of the shortage problem in Mexico because it's dangerous, so people doesn't want to drive anymore. In Back Solution, we can get the Mexican army to escort a load.
So you could hire the Mexican army to escort freight.
Can you talk about what your company has done to have success in developing relationships with carriers?
That's a secret. That's $1 million secret. It's approved, the new investment for the new Manzanillo port. So it's going to be 5 times bigger than the one that we had. These guys are building the next biggest port in Mexico.
I'm sure we'll be creating more content here. Mexico's very special.
You know, when the bold guy is going to start talking about logistics, the topic is getting serious. So, the bold guy is going to.
Potential customers look at you and they're like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
This guy's been through enough.
He's well aged. That was a good intro, I think, to this topic that we're going to be discussing today. But overall, we are in Guadalajara, Mexico. This is technically Guadalajara, right? Or is this outskirts?
No, this is Guadalajara.
This is a residential area, like super nice homes everywhere. We just pull up to like this beautiful house, like mansion. Like you said, it was in what kind of style?
He said it was a Luis Miguel style mansion. For those who don't know, Luis Miguel is like the Frank Sinatra of Mexico.
Okay, yeah, and it's just beautiful. It's like amazing weather outside, and we pull up and we come inside. They're just like, how many people are here? Like 60 or?
We're 60 here.
Okay, 60 people and like just lots of sunlight because there's like really big windows. Like there's a bathroom here that has a jacuzzi in it. Like I've never been to a brokerage that was this awesome. Like this is like,
thank you.
Like amazing. And like,
do you expect something like this?
Not at all. I had no expectations at all. And I come here, I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
I did tell him, I was like, yeah, because we've FaceTimed a couple of times. I was like, it's in a house. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's in a house. Like,
I literally thought just like a regular house. That's like, this is not a regular house. This is really
it's pretty amazing because, working in brokerage, it's a tough job. And like you have it's like this family style environment with a ton of natural light, and like natural light helps a lot.
And also we had to get creative. Back Solutions started as a bootstrap business. So the budget was kind of a challenge to feed the whole people we got here. This house was the perfect option. Even when we came to see it for the first time, the girl who attended us was like, no, this is not going to work for you. What are you talking about? We can fit a bunch of people outside. Like, of course.
I mean, it's really special, and it's cool because Eduardo here was the chief commercial officer at Back Solutions. We're about to get into his background and all that, but we walk in and there's a kitchen right there, and there's just a bunch of healthy food, like fruits and packaged like meals, and it's all very healthy. And he says that like they just take care of like their employees with healthy food. And then there's also like a lot of books that they could read. There's like a lounge where they could, take a nap if they want to. They could also play some, like Super Mario or Smash.
They can play Smash here. Yeah. I mean, we just recently used to work for a big company. So we already knew what we wanted to be. Like, I mean, we project everything here. Like, okay, we would love to have this in another company. We would love to get these practices. We would love to get more commission percentage, or we like another structure where we took the best of the different companies that we used to work. Sergio, Mauricio, and I brought all the good things together and came up with this. So I think we made it on the environment. People is really happy. We got 0% churn till last month that we only missed one guy. One of our carrier sales left for another opportunity, which we were really happy because it was a growth opportunity for him. And we boost him out in the industry like, oh, he used to work for banks. So that was a validation point for them to get hired in another company, which got us really glad, also sad, because we were keeping the record of 0% churn. People is happy here, people doesn't want to leave, and we make so much effort to keep them together here.
A flip phone, a fax machine, and a pager walk into a bar. The bartender says, "What is this, a museum?" Technology moves fast. What was cutting edge 20 years ago is now more nostalgia than necessity. Sure, a flip phone can still make calls just fine, and a fax machine technically works okay. But why settle for fine when you can have better? If your back office technology still relies on email inboxes and manual workflows, it's time for an upgrade courtesy of ePay Manager powered by OTR Solutions. With ePay Manager, you can modernize your processes, streamline invoice audits, and automate payments with proactive workflows that don't rely on those email inboxes. The result? Faster invoicing, stronger security, and 50% lower back office costs. Don't let your business get stuck in the past like that pager you stopped carrying in 1999. Visit epaymanager.com or text ePayFC to 80483 to bring your back office into the modern age. I love that. That doesn't really exist in a lot of brokerages. I feel like most brokerages are like, they don't really care.
If you're a brokerage in the United States and you've been in business for, how long have you been in business?
4 years.
You've been in business for 4 years and say we have 0% churn, no one has left yet. That's
a record.
That's a record for sure.
Yeah.
So
It's incredible.
I remember when we last spoke, you said 0% churn. You're like, I don't know how long that'll last for, but like things are looking good. But still, one person in 4 years is remarkable.
Eduardo, like I want to like give more context to our listeners here and kind of like help them understand your background. Like, where did you come from? How did you get in logistics? Where are you from, first of all? Like, where were you born and raised? Give us everything.
Okay, so I was born and raised in a small town in the middle of Mexico called Lagos de Moreno, Jalisco, which is like right in the middle of the Bajío, where I know the people who listen might hear about because all the automobile industries are around El Bajío. And my family is a transportation owners company. So I've been involved in trucking for my whole life. Then I used to work for IBM for some months. And then I came back to the industry back in Coyote when just started in Guadalajara. And I remember when I get into Coyote, my brother told me, okay, you learn an important lesson. Once you're in this industry, you cannot leave. You cannot leave. So you're stuck here. And I mean, I love the industry. I started working at Coyote, where I met Sergio and Mauricio, my partners. One of them managed the whole operational team. The other is the CFO, which get in charge of get everything going with the money. And I'm in charge of develop all the customers that help us out to the exponential growth that we've been living these 4 years. But also in Coyote we met. Then I moved to Mexico City. I used to work for Grupo Tracción, which is one of the largest transportation companies in Mexico. Sergio went to Solistica, then to 40 Years and Arrive, where like we acquire many experience for many places. And it's what I was talking about. Like we took all the good practices and put it together and build bags. Mm-hmm. So we started with bags as an international broker. So mainly from Mexico to the States and Canada. Then it was the COVID back in the day. So we took advantage of the volume and the high prices, the customer wanting loads ASAP. That's where we grow with those customers who provide loads during the COVID. Then we have this deceleration industry process that we live some days that we diversify to different industries in Mexico. So we attend the ports like Manzanillo, Lázaro Cárdenas, Altamira, Veracruz, with container holdings inside Mexico. And we do intra-Mexico as well. Also, we build our own TMS. So we have our IT company called Zenith, which we took as well the best of every company we saw on operations. And we drafted old school in a Google Sheets. We start working, and then we program it as a functional TMS, which can operate ocean, can operate intra-Mexico, door-to-door services, so can coexist with many services that now the industry is requiring.
I just wanted to say one thing. I had written an article about after RXO completed the acquisition of Coyote about the entrepreneur tree from Coyote, talking about all the people that went to other companies and became executives, started their own brokerages, started their own tech. And I did not highlight the Mexican side of things. And it's just crazy to think that more people from Mexico who worked at Coyote went on to start, a successful brokerage. So yeah, sorry for leaving you out, and we're friends. So that's on me. That's on me, but
Please
I'm
don't say
adding
that.
you in now. So
Eduardo, you started at Coyote Logistics when they opened an office in Guadalajara.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And what year was that?
Sergio was one of the best employees, and I was one of the first 20 employees.
First 20? Okay. And that was like, what, 2016, if I'm not mistaken?
2016, back in 2016.
What was that like, I guess, your experience, like when you first entered Coyote Logistics? How was it?
I loved it. I got to be honest with that. Coyote was a great school. We learned everything about the international industry. I used to brag, like, I know the industry. I've been around the industry because of my family. Then I saw Coyote. I was like, okay, no, I know nothing. I gotta learn a lot. The environment, the people, the first people, the talented, really talented people that ended up building different companies as well here in Mexico. The culture that we used to live here, or maybe they still living. I don't know. Like, I haven't visited the office now. But the culture that we have was amazing. It was a really close group of friends that knew that we have to get the work done. So starting a new business, as Coyote said, like, we're gonna Americanize the logistics industry in Mexico. It's like, oh, hold your horses. This industry has been here a while, so we gotta mix it up with some Mexican manners here as well. Some building relationship with Mexican carriers, trying the intra Mexico freight as well, which we couldn't succeed back in the days because we tried to do the all American broker way, right? The auction system, the operational system, the carrier sales team trying to find loads. And here in Mexico, the industry is more about the compromise. So transportation owners and companies here in Mexico, they want to compromise to their brokers, to their businesses, to grow together, to provide good services, to get more volume, to help you out to win or use your sales team as a commercial extension of them. So it's all about that Mexican freight. So we merge that American culture because we learn it really well and put it together with the Mexican manners of building relationship, which ended up with really good friends that also help us out to build back solutions and also helped me through my career in logistics. They helped me in Traxion and they helped me here when I first started. And it was really amazing because, and it got me really moved because the first time when I quit the last job I had before Vax, I talked with one guy that I didn't used to work with me in the other company because the other company. And when I talked with him, it's like, okay, man, this is it. This is legit. This is mine. And he was like, dude, with Eduardo Chaim at work, of course you got credit with me. Of course I got your word. Of course I can work with you.
Yeah.
I didn't like the last company you were, but let's build this. So I stumbled upon with many answers like that. And I loved it. Like, we really appreciate the support of all the carriers that help us out to build backs and all the confidence.
This podcast is also brought to you by Highway, the carrier identity platform that's revolutionizing how freight brokers fight fraud. Every day, new threats emerge, but with Highway's robust tools, you're always one step ahead. Last month alone, Highway stopped over 54,000 fraud attempts, solidifying its role as a trusted partner to over 600 3PLs. Highway stands as your shield against the threat of stolen identities, double brokering, data breaches, and more, ensuring that your operations are secure and your transactions are safe. So, if you want to focus on what you do best and leave the worries of fraud behind, it's time to partner with Highway. Visit highway.com now to book a demo. Highway. It all starts with carrier identity.
You were talking there about relationships, and obviously in logistics, relationships are really important with customers and carriers. But from what I've seen over my career and what I've heard is that it could be very difficult to develop relationships with carriers in Mexico. So can you talk about what your company has done to have success in developing relationships with carriers?
First of all, That's a secret. That's $1 million secret. No, but
We'll cut it out.
no, it's really important because being a carrier it's a really difficult business. It's a business where you struggle all the time with drivers, with growth, with customers, with accidents. You're 100% exposed all the time. So they want to have a reliable partner which can provide a good payment and a good project. And of course, like building a relationship is really difficult because a carrier is looking for a friendship more than a deal with another company here. Like, oh, I'm going to sign a contract. Some carriers might look for your friendship first because, be honest, we lack around 30,000 drivers in Mexico.
So there is a driver shortage here.
Yeah, as well in the States.
Well, everyone's saying that there's no shortage of drivers in the States. Everyone's saying that's like fake news.
Oh, really?
They're saying it's a driver pay problem.
The loads are so cheap right now. It's like if there was a driver shortage, then wouldn't the rates be higher?
It should be. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of like the mainstream media has this narrative where like keeps repeating it that there's a shortage of drivers, but everyone I follow on Twitter, like that we follow on Twitter, like or X, they all like say that that's not true. So, but I guess I've never
Got it in Mexico.
You have it in Mexico.
We got shortage
Okay.
problem announced by Canacar, which is the transportation chamber. So they got the data, the numbers of the driver shortage,
Okay, and you said 30,000 drivers.
30,000.
So rates are pretty high, or
Rates are pretty steady. Like we don't fluctuate as much as you guys like seasonally.
yeah. So there's more relationships. I feel like whereas in America it's like just depending on the market.
Who's giving the cheapest price? I'm gonna go with that guy. So also that's been a challenge for the back solution getting into the international market with international customers. We have the back solution LLC as well, so we provide as a proper broker in the States as well. But getting into an American customer, you can win the bid, but next year you might not because a sharper guy got a sharper quoting that you.
Someone outbid you by a penny, and then they're going to give the freight back.
Here in Mexico, you can get a customer because of the price, but it's going to look for service. So people here can pay more for good service. Yeah, it's kind of getting back in the how to develop a relationship with the carrier is, yeah, they might got plenty job already. So in order for you as a broker, as a Mexican, as an international broker, to get a Mexican transportation company to work with you, you gotta be that friend. You gotta provide first, show that reliability. So that is a really tricky word for me in English. So show that to your carriers. Show that you can pay. Do not fail them. So get that thing. We don't like to play as the auction game. So if you get a quote with them, that is going to be the quote, and you seal that deal. You don't go like, hey, I got a $50 cheaper option right now. So if you don't get your rates down, you're not getting the load. So if you do that, you're going to lose a Mexican carrier.
That was Coyote all day, just bidding against zero. Of course, someone's like $50 cheaper, $50 cheaper.
Yeah,
U.S. brokerages. I mean,
Yeah. But I mean, one thing that made, I think, Coyote special in a lot of ways, I mean, they just had insane internal competition between each other, which like pushed people to be better. But it was a lot of, I'm going to book this load. And so it's like, I have a cheaper option. Then someone else is like, I have a cheaper option. And it's like, well, no, you already gave it to this guy. And it was just a lot of bidding against each other. But I know what you're saying. It's just like, we told you you could run the load at this rate and you have a truck, and it doesn't matter that someone came in cheaper. We're going to give it to you.
Exactly.
so you don't cancel on carriers in Mexico for cheaper.
No.
And if you do, then that's a good way to get kind of exiled.
I'd rather to have a new negotiation with them. Like, hey, listen, like you and I are not going to grow in this business if we keep giving those rates. Like we got to make it work through something because we have more competence in the bid, or we got to make a new deal. But I'd rather to loosen some loads until I get that deal with them than telling them like, hey, listen, I'm gonna give this job to another one if you don't get your price lower.
Sure.
So you get the same result. The communication is way different. So it's the relationship you're building.
I agree. I'm kind of curious, like, what are the rates right now, like, intra-Mexico? Like, what does that look like?
Inter-Mexico?
Yeah.
Let's say Guadalajara to Mexico City, Monterrey to
Oh,
Guadalajara.
I love those.
The triangle. The triangle. Okay. That's what Roberto was telling me about yesterday, triangle.
But I love running like through all Mexico. Like we run from Mexicali to Cancun. We love to go to the most complicated parts of Mexico where maybe a broker that is starting is going to know how am I going to get there? To Villahermosa, to Cancun, to Quintana Roo, to Tulum. Also the triangle, of course, all the highest volume fluctuation goes through Guadalajara, Mexico, Monterrey, which are the biggest cities in Mexico. And those lanes, it's around $1,000 one way, $1,000.
$1,000 one way.
One way.
How many miles or kilometers would it be? Like,
Kilometers is around 500 kilometers.
Yeah, I think Guadalajara to Mexico City is 293 miles. I just remember looking at the map this morning on Google
and
Maps.
that's $1,000.
That's $1,000.
293. So it's like
A little bit higher with the exchange. Yeah, like 23,000 pesos ish.
that's like $3 a mile, US.
Yeah, it's $2 a mile, 44 pesos.
That's per kilometer.
That's kilometer.
It would be like $3.
$3 a mile.
$3 a mile. So that's, I mean, I thought it would be a lot cheaper, to be honest. So there is like a shortage. I mean, like I feel like there's not enough trucks on the road.
And you can get like tons of volume in those lanes. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say another secret here. Going through Laredo, you can from Guadalajara to Laredo, it's gonna be around 2,000 to 2,400 USD. You're gonna make around 100 USD on that lane.
As
Each.
a broker.
As a broker.
Okay.
As a broker profit. And it's gonna take you around 5 days to go to the border, cross the trailer, get the trailer unload, and get back the trailer to Mexico. So that is gonna be around 5 days to get an invoice on that. I get in Mexico City in the same day. There is a 12 hours lane that I can get there and get back on 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I get 2 invoices and probably a higher profit than going to Laredo.
Do you still run to Laredo?
Yeah,
Okay. But you prefer obviously like intra-Mexico because it's...
I mean, we attend all the borders in the States. We go through Laredo, El Paso, Calexico, and San Diego.
What's the best border to go through with the truck? Is there a difference or no?
I like San Diego.
Okay.
I like San Diego. The lines are really long, but it's a good business opportunity in San Diego and Tijuana. You have many manufacturings there.
Okay, so you do Tijuana, San Diego.
We do Tijuana, San Diego. We do some California to Mexico through Tijuana. We do some Tijuana to Ohio, to South Carolina, to Texas. And we cross through Laredo basically to everywhere. We run to Oregon, to Washington, from coast to coast, basically.
Do you ever go through Eagle Pass?
It's a really small border,
Yeah.
Eagle Pass. You only get the same 3 options to cross in Eagle Pass. Like all brokers that are listening to this podcast, they know. They reach out the same guys. The rates are pretty much the same. People is saying that it's going to be an alternative cross-border for the international trade, but Colombia and Laredo is still way ahead of Eagle Pass.
Okay, intra-Mexico, shortage of trucks, rates are pretty high. And then you also do all this cross-border shipments, but you also do a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Like, can you walk us through like the holding company? What does the holding company do? Or all the companies. We actually have a water bottle here. You can't see all the logos, but it's Foresight Leading Ideas. That's the holding company, right?
That's a holding company name.
We could go through these. Is it okay?
Yeah, we can go through this. Actually, we got more companies here. We got to update these.
I like these logos. Like you have some good designers. Like it looks like they're all like venture capital backed logos.
It's all, we have our own design stuff here because one of the Foresight Leading Ideas, we call it massive transformative purpose, is to build companies with an unwavering excellence, one breaking company at a time. So we started Back Solutions. Back Solution was built under the theory that we are going to sell. So that gave us a lot of structure. We go through all the books, entrepreneur books, like how to run things, how to get the things built once, build it well, and because we don't like to repeat process. So we're here to make them a better process, not to rebuild it. So we start with Back Solutions. Then we look for a new opportunity on the TMS system as well. Like we were building our coding in a sheet on Google, and we operate on Google, gotta be honest. But we were looking for an option in the market. Like we need these to help us to run this operation. Like we don't want to adapt an already existing system from the shell and adapt my whole operation because of the system that forces us to work in a one way. We work different than Coyote. We have the three teams, right? The operational, the sales, the carrier sales, but we interact different. So we needed a different TMS which can provide service to the States, intra-Mexico, ocean, air. We run some air shipments as well. It was an amazing learning. So we built Zenit as a new company.
You built which company here? Was it on here or no?
Zenit. No, we gotta update this. This is an old.
Today's Freight Caviar podcast is also brought to you by CloneOps. CloneOps.ai is the AI-powered business communication platform that handles your inbound and outbound calls, texts, and emails all in one place. Freight brokers use CloneOps.ai to automate check calls, confirm orders, collect documents, and streamline back-office ops without missing a beat. You can even customize your AI agents to match your workflows. Always turned on, never stops working. Visit CloneOps.ai and never miss a message again.
There's 6 logos here, by the way, and there's more. There's more.
There's more, and we make some changes.
The TMS is called
Zenit.
Zenit. Z-E-N-I-T or?
TT.
And you build a TMS, which is quite remarkable. I mean, everyone kind of says like, don't build your own TMS, just kind of like buy one, whatever's on the market.
But it didn't work for us.
It didn't work. And do you believe that's because you're doing like intra-Mexico freight and U.S. like?
Yeah, our operational flow as well. So how our people interact with each other and how a load goes through all the department till get an invoice. It didn't work the product from the shell. So, and also the same thing is, we cannot invoice US loads with this TMS that is from Mexico. We cannot invoice Mexican load. We cannot manage the Mexican legal compliance on the American TMS. Like, if I mention these, people get crazy about the carta porte.
What's Mexican legal compliance and carta porte? I don't know any. Do you know what this is?
I'm unfamiliar.
No, carta porte, it's a document which you needed to go through Mexico. It's our BOL.
Okay.
It's our BOL, but it's an invoice for the Mexican IRS. So it's the invoice and it's the BOL. So you need a system to emit those BOLs and put it in the Mexican, we call it SAT, S-A-T, which is our IRS.
As Paul was saying, a lot of people say don't build your own TMS, go get what's available. And a lot of the companies that have tried to be a brokerage and build a TMS and then like tried to sell the TMS as well have either failed or axed it because like it's just hard to do both and they say focus on another. So how did you manage building a TMS and running a brokerage? And was your TMS built more so just for internal efficiencies, or do you ever have plans on trying to sell it?
I'm going to tell you how we manage to have no two companies, no just Back Solution, no just the Zenit TMS. Also, we built a factoring company, which is a Mexican banking institution.
That's factoring for Mexican carriers.
That's factoring for Mexican carrier called PayNow. That is one of our companies.
Name. I like the name. It's nice and simple.
Yeah, PayNow. PayNow. Yeah. And we built a company as well. and provides factoring services to our carriers. The volume fluctuation that we have on ports lead us to open an asset-based transportation company in Manzanillo as well. So we got trucks in Manzanillo as well, part of the holding group. And I believe answered that question actually is about the leverage we got with the talented people we got here. Like, we can trust back to all our managers. We got the most capable managers and crew on the staff here, motivated. We share a lot in commissions. We gotta be really open with that. I can share with you guys, Back Solution is sharing around 19% of the margin to all the people here. So operations, carriers, sales, administration, every single guy outside here gets commissions. So they are highly motivated. They don't want to live here because we provide good salaries. We have a career path for everyone here. So they are reliable as they let us build more things and put it together and get integrated with all these services. And at the end, we became a specialized holding group which provide different services to the logistics industry in Mexico. We've had some board members who told us, do not get trucks, do not get the TMAs, do not get these, but we operate fully separated. It's Back Solutions with the whole thing, and RTC with the trucks and a different team, and Zenith with a different team. So we became a multidisciplinary leaders, which, it haven't been easy at all. Like, last night we left around 1 a.m. in the morning. So we have this extended sessions when we work from, and we get the strategy from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. to 1 a.m. twice a week.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
but we love it. We love how people is getting involved. We love how people wants to reach out and join the team from other brokers. That makes me flattered.
I have a question about the factoring company. So I've learned that in Mexico, credit is like rather sort of a new concept, like just the history of Mexico. People have bought things in cash, or a lot of people don't have credit cards. And for a small to mid-sized carrier, especially in the US, it makes sense to use a factoring company because you get your money much quicker. And rather than waiting the 30 days or 60 days or whatever, you still have to pay for your truck, service the truck, pay the driver. How have you gone about selling the factoring services to people who might be skeptical of credit?
Really good one, because the first carriers that we talk about the factoring, they were like, what? Are you going to charge me to get paid? Why? I don't understand this. Like,
concept.
What is this concept? Why are you charging me to get my money? Like, I did the service to you. So we managed to tell them, like, hey, listen, there's some companies, big enterprises companies, which move commodity in Mexico, that already use factorings, as Nestle, this kind of entrepreneur Mexican company based here. So some of them are just to the factoring, some of them are not, but we get the deal. We get the relationship to tell them, like, hey, okay, got two options. I got the 1,000 USD and I got the 900. The 900 I can pay you 3 days after you get me the POD. Give me the 3 days in advance. But we start with the negotiation on the rates, not after the invoice. Like, hey, listen, I'm gonna charge you at 3% or 4 or 1 or any percentage from your invoice because I'm gonna pay it before. No, so we managed to establish those terms and conditions, and they love it. Because we run a lot of intra-Mexico freight. Not all of the intra-Mexico transportation company are the same than the one who is certified in CityPad, going through Laredo, Texas, got 100 trucks. They're gonna tell you, give me my money, or I'm not gonna work with you. I'm not interested in factoring. But here in Mexico, you got small companies, owner operator, I would say from 10 to 15 trucks, which they need the job, they need the money, they need the cash flow. We got to provide, you got to pay in advance the fuel, you got to pay in advance all the tolls. We are full of tolls in Mexico. So, and are expensive because we move singles and doubles. And when we move doubles, the prices are really high. So this transportation company got to pay in advance, and they cannot support the whole operation. So that's where Pay Now shows up, and this is a solution that we can work together to make this project work for you and for me. So they are really happy working with us and Pay Now.
I feel like once you kind of sell it to them as you're getting paid quicker and you're not going to have to worry about it, it's an easier sell. It's just a new concept.
Since the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, let's get the rates settled here and which pay terms you want. Because the factoring company can fix if you want 3 days, 15 days, 30 days. I mean, 30 days is usually the credit we ask for. So that's 0%. But depends of the days you want to get the money, you get the proportion discount.
An adjusted rate.
The fix.
I want to quickly touch on this topic because I think it's something that also people in America are curious about, is like the safety of like intra-Mexico freight. And also I know there's like cross-border freight. Like yesterday I was talking to Roberto and he was telling me about stories about like Escorts, doing like the coyote loads to the US. And like, how does it look like when you're doing loads from Guadalajara to Mexico City or Monterrey? Like, do you oftentimes need to get an escort to like actually, make sure to secure the freight, making sure that no one will, maybe steal it, stuff like that? How does that look?
It's something that we all get worried about, right? Because it's not just the commodity, it's not just the load. It's a driver. It's a guy who drives a truck who exposed their life. That is part of the shortage problem in Mexico because it's dangerous. So people don't want to drive anymore, and they want to provide ex-drivers want to provide that different levels of education to their kids. They are not teaching their kids to be a driver anymore. So that's kind of a part of the problem. But we got to be really careful of commodities. You got commodities more exposed than others. So usually the groceries commodities are the ones who are more exposed, more easy to move for the thief to take from one place to another market and sell it the whole truck. So we got to be really careful with the dispatch hours. We got to be really careful of what the commodity is and get the proper guarding. I mean, in Back Solution, we can get the military, the Mexican army to escort a load.
Really?
Yeah.
You get the Mexican, and is that unique? Like, how do you have to like a special connection to get that, or?
No, you hire them as a service.
You hire the Mexican army, so you could hire the Mexican army to escort freight inside of Mexico.
I just saw on the highway on the weekend. I was coming from my town to Guadalajara, and I saw these. I don't know how you call it, guys. This truck that moved the cars. We call it madrinas.
Towing truck or tow car?
But the big one.
Did it have like a tank or like an army vehicle in the back?
No, the one that moved all the cars.
Auto haulers?
Like the auto transport companies, like if you want to ship your car from...
Yeah, like auto haulers, no?
Yeah, it's like
auto haulers, yeah.
I saw the two of them being custody for the Mexican army.
So do you decide as a broker if you need an escort, or does the shipper or the customer tell you, like, we need an escort?
We advise. We advise to get an escort. And there are some commodities that if they don't get the escort, we don't move the load. We're not gonna get exposed to the driver. We're not
so that they pay for it. It doesn't come out of your margin or whatever. Like you got to tell the customer.
I can provide that service. I have a good I'd say carriers, escort carriers.
Okay.
So we can provide that service. We can provide also insurance liability per load. In Mexico, that is really important. So carriers doesn't have liability as in the States. So the commodity owners got to hire their own insurance to move the freight. And as a carrier, we're not responsible of the commodity during the the transit. So the carrier is responsible of a certain percentage by law, but it's really low.
So that also kind of leaves room for them to kind of like try to like sell it or get, their freight stolen. It's like, hey, I don't have liability for this. So like, do you think that happens?
That is one of the key parts of the carrier sales team in Intra-Mexico, to audit all the carriers that we're working with, like make sure it's legit thing, because there's a lot of thief. As much as the States, I've heard you guys in the States been struggling with that. And we also just hire Highway as well to.
Oh, nice. You use Highway?
Yeah, we use
Shout out
Highway.
to Highway. They sponsor Freight Caviar.
Oh,
So.
really? It's a really nice platform. We love that.
What do you use to audit them? Like, how do you know if they're legit?
Go physically.
Oh,
Yeah. Make sure the yard exists. Make sure this carrier got all the paperwork and some compliance process that we run through. They gotta match many papers. We have a credit score as well for them to see if they pay their bills or not.
yeah.
The old school way, showing up at the doorstep.
I love that.
Yeah.
I wish we like we did that more in the US, like showing up at the doorstep.
And one thing I would love to point out is that when we walked in here, you were showing us where everyone sit, and you said, "Yeah, this is our sales team," and it was a row of empty desks, and you're like, "They should never be here. They should be out visiting customers."
We run it as Buddhist strategy on sales. Right now, our 60% of our volume is in intra-Mexico freight, and 40% is cross-border.
Cross-border, okay.
Cross-border. We've got some percentage of domestic in the States as well, but tending through, the 60% also is a border operation in Manzanillo, Lázaro Cárdenas, Altamira, Veracruz, which it works, works pretty much the same. It's another.
Can you repeat that slower? Because I feel like people didn't get that.
The Manzanillo.
Yeah, that's a port.
That's a port in Mexico.
Is it on the Pacific side or the?
It's a Pacific side, the Manzanillo and Lázaro Cárdenas one.
And if you look at Guadalajara, is that north or south?
It's west.
East, west,
Southwest. Southwest.
Yeah,
Southwest of here.
Yeah.
And before we started doing the interview, you mentioned that the number of TEUs, which is 20 equivalent units, so it's like how they measure like just one container, 20-foot container.
One container.
It's a TEU, and that's how they measure the volume. You said that in how do you Manzanillo? Manzanillo, and what was there's like a long name for it too.
Manzanillo. The other one is Lázaro Cárdenas.
Okay, so there's two of them.
Two Pacific ports.
Two Pacific ports, and they're near each other?
Yeah, they're pretty near.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty close to
there's
each other.
also Ensenada as well, right?
Ensenada is in the northern Mexico, pretty close to Tijuana, but most of the Asian products go through Manzanillo.
Manzanillo, okay. And you said the volume there is equivalent to Laredo?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's under 1,000 TEUs less than Laredo, Texas.
Okay, and that's 1,000 less, what, per week, per month?
Per day.
Per day, okay.
Per day, you got around 14,000 shipment cross in the Laredo border, and you get around from 12 to 13,000 TEUs through Manzanillo.
And that's mostly coming in from China?
Asia.
Asia.
China, Taiwan, Indonesia.
Are those products destined for the U.S.? Or
no, most of them are for the Mexican industry.
For the Mexican industry. So you do drayage essentially. You pick it up, the containers out of Manzanillo and the other product.
You got the name. Yeah, we do the drayage.
Okay.
Actually, RTC is a drayage company in Manzanillo.
And RTC is the asset side.
It's the asset company.
So you own the assets for the drayage.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, this is fascinating. You've expanded so quickly in 4 years. Like, I'm shocked. Do you think you were able to expand into Mexico so rapidly because of the nature of companies here, logistics companies where there's more room to grow? Do you think you would be able to replicate this in the United States, or is it because of the nature here?
Exponential growth does not pause at all. You can be exponential everywhere if you got the right basis, if you got the right process, if you got the right mentality to expand to that businesses. We ended up building more companies because of a crisis. So imagine this, back in the days, back solution, we mentioned back solutions. Customers were like, what is back solutions? No. And we work with a pretty large industries, enterprise, middle market companies that trust us on the process of growth, that I'm really thankful for them to provide loads to us being so small, and took advantage of COVID. But after COVID, when the market slowed down, we start to panic. We said, oh shit, this is getting wild. Our bills are getting higher. Our tickets are getting lower. What we should do here? Like, what is the market saying? Okay, Mexico is still growing on a stable percentage year per year. Why don't we go like through all the Mexico transportation services, flatbed, reefer, dry van? The intra-Mexico market is great as well. We got the port market as well. So we start moving our services. We hired the national manager and the port manager as well to develop all the relationship with those carriers and just fill the customer requirements that we were getting through our pricing process. Mm-hmm. So we have the whole sales team here. We are around 12 people, which is reps on reps. Get the number, get quotes. Let's introduce us to our customers. Like literally, I've been door to door selling, like knocking the door of a company, telling them like, hey, listen, I got a truck pretty much the same that you got there. What can I do to work with you? So like we just knock the door, we start receiving all these opportunities, and we were really analytic on, okay, the most percentage of quoting that we're getting is the national freight from the company that we knew they got cross-border. So we start becoming a really important carrier for them to cover the lane from Guadalajara to Villahermosa. Then we ask for the Guadalajara, Chicago, that I know we all fight for those shipments.
Guadalajara to Chicago?
Guadalajara, Chicago is great. It's a great shipment. I can cover the lane in 1 second.
Okay.
But I tell my customers, like, I'm running the struggling lanes for you. Like, give me the opportunity to show you that I can go through the States as well. So that helped us out to expand. Getting back to the different services, also the port was pretty much the same. We just got to go the customer opportunity to go exponential, to specialize in every sector, to can expand quickly, to expand fast. And I'm pretty sure it's something that in the States you can do as well.
You could do, but I feel there's like a lot more competition. There's a lot more companies already. Like I feel like I feel like when you're telling this, it's like what was like 30 years ago maybe available in America.
Oh, really?
I was thinking about this for a while. There's cultural differences between Mexico and the US and how people might work about their day. And I think having worked at Coyote, an American company, you got to see that hustle. You kind of like brought that hustle here and was like, this is how it should be done, where other companies may not be doing it that way. And that's sort of kind of how you've been able to expand fast. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but I think part of it, you look around, is like culture, attitude, and being like, we're going to go out, visit customers, make promises, keep our word.
If you didn't work at Coyote, do you think you'd be in this position right now?
No, for sure. No, I won't. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Coyote was one of the greatest school I had. And I lived the contrast between this American company going to a Mexican port, which it was an amazing experience as well. In Coyote, I learned how the industry worked. I absorbed all the information I could of the process of how the culture of how we can run a load, of how to build a team. And the Mexican corp make me an executive. Like, honestly, I was a carrier rep, which I sold myself really well to that company, telling them like, yes, I'm the manager. I can do this. I can get shit done here. So get all the carriers for you. These guys invite me to their company to open the brokerage department. So I tell them I'm your carrier manager here. And I started as a carrier rep in that other company. And they transferred me to executive guy there. Like I had to become a manager in that company and fast. Otherwise, I would be fired. Because when I moved from Coyote, my commission level was really high. So when I moved to this other company, I told them like, I want my base here. So my expectation got really high. So I think is one of the things that all the people who is bringing the company to Guadalajara, to Mexico City, to Monterrey is leaving because they want to hire the killing people, the skilled one, which commissions are really high, and the salary base is going to be higher to get those talented guys.
Yeah.
So, but they are care reps in these other companies. So you got to be sharp and fast to understand the management levels and the executive and learn the new languages of a corporation, but inside. That helped me out to build this with Sergio and Mauricio. Mauricio is our CFO, who he failed in 4 entrepreneurs before VAX.
So for the viewers out there, Eduardo was the first person I met in Mexico. I moved to Mexico knowing nobody. Well, it first was supposed to be a 2-month trip, and then it turned to 6 months, and it's been 3 years. But a former colleague of mine, shout out Tanner, she told me that I should reach out to him when I moved to Mexico. And I arrived on Sunday, January 2nd, 2022. And
Okay, you got the day.
I remember the day, and then it was a Sunday night, and you were like, "Bro, let's go get tacos."
We got tacos.
Yeah, at Mercado Roma. I was just there the other night. That taco stand does not exist anymore.
No.
We didn't touch upon like the nearshoring of manufacturing that's going on in Mexico, and it's definitely a topic that I want us to, like, in a condensed way, if you could tell us like what's going on in terms of like who's coming here manufacturing wise, especially since like post-pandemic you've seen it all, like what's going on with nearshoring from your perspective, and where do you envision nearshoring, even with the tariffs right now with Trump in office, like going forward?
So nearshoring is not a new thing. We just started listening to nearshoring after COVID, but it's been happening since the '93, from the first free trade agreement we got between Mexico and the States and Canada, of course. And we've been building infrastructure from all these years, and many companies like General Motors, Toyota, that is a really difficult word in English as well.
Refrigerator?
Yeah, there you go. Man, good. So TVs, many manufacturings has established in Mexico through all these years. Then we had the renegotiation between the Telecan and Temec, the first Trump period that we had. 2016? No.
Okay, so Trump renegotiated when he came in office in 2016. So like it was like basically eight years ago or so when Trump entered, he renegotiated which deal?
From Telecan to Temec.
Temec. Oh, so what does that even mean? What
Temec is the new trade agreement we signed with Trump and Peña Nieto. So back in the days where all these steel tariffs were imposed, and we had to make some origin challenges paperwork in order to get rid of that tariff. So it happened before. Like the story repeats. We are in the middle of a tension or of many questions the industry might got. I mean, I'm gonna go back to this phrase where exponential growth does not pause, even though the world gets messy. So we have to take the advantages of how this whole new flow of commodities is gonna go. If it's not going through Laredo, if it's not going to the States, it's gonna go somewhere else. It's gonna go to Brazil. It's gonna go to Chile. It's gonna, and the relationship we got with the States is really strong. That I don't believe that our commodities is gonna fluctuate to other countries. We're gonna find the ways to tight the tariff, to tight the rates, to, I have many friends in the automotive industry, and I talk with them about like what's the news, like what you got there. One of them is one of a manufacturing company for Tesla, and he's not worried about the new tariff. So I say, okay, this guy knows something. His production is still, his inventory is still, so the volume keeps going. We have this panic before tariff day movements between Mexico and the States and Canada, just to make sure you take advantage of the right prices, right? But we gotta wait. We gotta hold still. How is the market gonna go? And I think is one of the back secret of growth, like just put in the front and watch the game and move with the flow of the commodities it's gonna go. So that's why we're ready with the forwarding services. That's why we're ready.
You're doing forwarding as well?
Yeah, we're gonna do ocean. We're gonna do ocean.
I'm very bullish on Eduardo here. If I was able to invest money, I would just put it all into Eduardo right now. Like Eduardo.
Send it over. We are a bootstrap company. Like we haven't raised any round, any pre-seed, any like money only help us to go faster. And we know we are on the right path and get these actions to the Manzanillo port, which this is a good news. It's approved, the new infrastructure, the new investment for the new Manzanillo port. So it's going to be five times bigger than the one that we had right now. And it's going to be in 5 years. So that investment, it's going. These guys are building the next biggest port in Mexico.
Bullish on Mexico.
Do you ever do anything through the port of Veracruz?
Yes, we do. We're moving some loads. Veracruz used to be one of the main ports in Mexico when Europe was one of.
Yeah, because it's on the Gulf. It's on the Gulf side.
It's in the Gulf side.
Yeah.
But right now, Manzanillo
For sure.
went way ahead of Veracruz.
Well, I have a feeling a lot of our listeners will be hearing more about Manzanillo like over the next, several years.
Especially if you're doing cross-border freight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you guys can reach me out anytime. I'm kind of an expert there.
Actually, Roberto was telling me that you mentioned that you've been talking to media here. Like you've been featured in a lot of like publications, right?
So we took a PR, which helped us out to manage all the interviews, and is part of my job that I loved because I met amazing people, amazing reporters. I've been in magazines talking about how the nearshoring is gonna strike. How can I play the crystal ball? Because all the questions are going like to expectation. Yeah, I'm gonna play the crystal ball where I can see the future.
But just like the guy that you work with, the CFO that has had 4 failed like you've been wrong many times, but maybe one time you're gonna be boom. That was me.
That was me. I was the right one there.
That's all the economists, like they make all these predictions and then they make one that's good and everyone, they write books about it. So.
Yeah, like,
Not saying this about your CFO. Don't know. I'm sure it's a good day, but they say broken clocks right twice a day.
Eduardo, wow. This was amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
This is amazing.
Podcast.
Thank you so much for having us. This office is spectacular. We should do some more filming in the office real quick, but we got to get going.
I got the next invitation for you guys because in about 4 months, we're moving to the new office.
Okay.
We're moving
In Guadalajara.
In Guadalajara, we're moving to a bigger place.
I'm sure we'll be creating more content here. Mexico's very special. I'm very bullish on the nearshoring here. I feel like there's a lot of like opportunities here, you're capitalizing on opportunities here, which is amazing. And I think that's just like honestly beautiful to see that you have all these companies here and like you have the right mindset. You're treating your people right. You're growth oriented. And I'm bullish on you guys and on Mexico. And Ari, I'm bullish on you here in Mexico too. And
bullish on freight caviar. I'm bullish on landing talent. I'm bullish on back solution.
Do not let the fake news or the bad news stop coming to Mexico. I know you guys listen. It's dangerous. Don't go there.
It's
It is
dangerous.
not.
I'm like walking around like with my phone, like my cameras everywhere. Like I have been feeling very safe. I know there's places like if you're looking for trouble, you'll find trouble.
You'll find
But
trouble.
If I go to the side of Chicago, I guarantee you, I could probably find a lot of trouble too.
You got nothing to do between the highway to Nuevo Laredo at 3 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, if you are there, you might experience that.
I kind of want to just film some content that way. Should we do like the highway route in Mexico one day? All right.
I can take you guys to my hometown. It's pretty close, so you can.
You have a ranchero?
I got a rancho
Yeah.
in my hometown.
Eduardo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're a
Thanks for
legend.
coming.
You're a legend.
No.
This guy is really tall.
I'm very tall.